Let's start off with what's going on in the money markets. The CBK reportedly really feeling the pressure of the cash crunch and again reversing the cycle of monetary policy. So it's really a flip-flop in many ways on the policy front. What do you expect to see for the shilling?
Well, the shilling continues to slide, and I don't see much appreciation for it over the next couple of days. That is early next week. So central bank again moving, was it yesterday, to stake that when it came in and really again changed its monetary policy position. So the market is not too happy about this, and rather than interpreting the central bank's moves as monetary policy induced to breeding instability, we really are seeing the flip-flopping and understanding it to be rather than monetary stabilizing, really just confusion generating in the market.
All right. The people who seem to be at least benefiting from a weaker shilling are the tea producers, and we're told that tea exports are set to rise now that the political environment in North Africa seems to be settling down. It should allow a situation where tea exports resume to the region. So basically, if you're a tea producer, you should be in good stead.
That's absolutely right. Tea production has really been one of the beneficiaries of the sliding shillings. However, looking at it from the stock perspective, I'm not absolutely sure that these benefits are actually being interpreted into the stock pricing. The tea prices have been rising. The production really has been benefiting from the rains that we have had over the past few months. But unfortunately, the stocks still are not really benefiting directly from these positive aspects. So there are questions there, and every analyst needs to actually go back to the books and see how well a correlation there actually is between the dollar and the shilling and the tea stocks.
Well, obviously it speaks to the general underperformance of the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Let's talk about British American. There was so much fanfare when we were told they were coming to market, but ultimately the subscription for their IPO is just a modest 60%. And then this is compounded by the fact that they're talking about postponing the listing. What are you expecting to see by way of the trading of the shares and the ability of this company to raise the kind of capital it needs for its various programs?
On British American, quite a number of questions have belatedly come in. One of them is why actually they did not underwrite their IPO. Looking at it from an earlier stance, whereby earlier in the year we had Centum underwriting Kenya Power's fundraising for earlier in the year. Now the question is, why really didn't British American take on a similar approach? So with a 60% subscription rate, and now with the postponement of the listing, it really doesn't augur too well for the stock, and all money would be well placed to expect a downturn once listing comes on.
That doesn't seem to be the case for Banque de Kigali, which came onto the market yesterday. In its market debut already, that stock has gained 4% on the share price. Now, a lot of Kenyan retail investors have piled in to this particular company, but that was also the case with Bralirwa when they had their IPO. Why is it that investors are very keen on Rwandan companies?
Yes, the entire East African community really is beginning to actually be felt by the retail market, and I have long been bullish on investing in regional players. So this is one of the issues that we are seeing, that the market really is beginning to look for more diverse plays as opposed to a purely Kenyan-centric play. So with that in mind, we've seen a lot of interest in Banque de Kigali, and earlier on with their bottling company, Bralirwa. So it really is an aspect of trying to capitalize on the opportunities that that are coming on board, and where East Africans are actually getting preferential holding and allocations.
Yeah, I mean, obviously also Rwanda is quite a special case because despite what's going on with inflation, they've bucked their trend and they are powering forward when it comes to their growth trajectory. Kenya's going to elections scheduled for 2012, but there's this big issue hanging over the conscience of the people, and that's the hearings at The Hague. And we're already told that confirmation procedures have begun at The Hague. Quite senior ministers in Kenya are involved in this process because of what they're alleged to have done by way of participation in post-electoral violence in early 2008. Has the market responded in any way to the processes that have begun in the Netherlands?
Not quite. I don't think the market really is now responding to these new developments in that we had already anticipated them over a very prolonged period, so any shocks ought to have come in earlier. So these developments, I don't think anyone in the market is really putting money on them. That aside, on the more positive note, we are seeing Kenyan athletes winning medals all over the place. So on that note, there is some positive news for the country.